I'm going to go through these steps fairly quickly. There are reminders there, and you can watch this over again, and there's also some tutorials that really give you a lot more detail on how to work with masks and fonts and text. So your first step is to find an image that you want to make a selection from. You need a subject that you can select and remove from, and then a background image where you're going to place that subject on. For me, I've chosen this image as my subject where I'll select. It's going to be me in my Data costume from Halloween. And I also have a, sorry about this, I also am going to choose a background image. And you can use either Unsplash or Google. Unsplash does not have a lot of good pop culture references, and so the Google image search gave me more of what I needed. But I did make sure to check and make sure that I'm looking for large files because I want high resolution files. And I'm also making sure not to save this image, but to actually click and get the full-size image and save this image because I want it higher resolution. This is what it looks like if you end up with too small of an image as a thumbnail. And if you try to blow this image up to be the right size, you're going to see a big difference in image quality. So make sure you're getting high resolution images for the work that you do. Okay, so that's going to be finding images. Let's go back to the next step. The next step is going to be making a selection and layering via copy. So in Photoshop, you're going to use one of the selection tools. Probably the easier ones are going to be here. These are object selection tools. There's 3 of them buried if you click and hold. If it's something really finite and detailed, you might want to do it by yourself with one of the lasso tools. But I'm going to use this tool because I know that it works for the most part. I'm going to click the subject, and then a selection is defined by that purple area, but then you've got the animated marching ants, which is the black and white lines that move around the edge. Every time I do this image, it misses the phaser. So the default for this, and there's tools up here, is add to selection. So if I click another selection, it's going to add that to the selection that I already have, and now in 2 clicks, I've got everything that I want. Then you're either going to right click or alt click, layer via copy, and you'll notice that that layer is created right here, and that layer is the thing that you're going to move over to your background layer. So I'm going to take this background layer and move it and drop it right on top of the picture. Now, the next step is really to move the image and make sure it scales correctly. So I need to change my tool again to the Move tool. It's also known as the Transformation tool. And I just want to scale this back so that I'm not too zoomed in. It's the difference in pixel ratios. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to a place like this, and then leave it, and leave a little bit off the bottom. So my next step is going to be to tie it all together with some text. So I need to change tools again. There is horizontal and vertical text. I'm going to do the vertical text tool just because I find there's a nice little space right here that I want to work with. And I'm going to go ahead and take that text and type in insufficient data. And it's at an 18-point font. I've got some tools that I can make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to try 30. And that kind of works. I noticed that the font is kind of tough to read, so I definitely would want to tinker with that. But I'm giving you the basic ideas of how to do this, and then you can tailor the color and the size and the font later. And again, there's a good tutorial that will let you do that. Maybe bold it. That's already bold. So the next thing is, there's one thing that I did and I liked it, and I'm going to go ahead and do it again. And basically, because the idea that I'm trying to get is that it's data, but it's like a data rate, like an image or a transfer or a phone problem. I'm just going to go over to this layer, and I'm going to work with just that layer. And I found this filter. If I go down to pixelate, I'm looking for a mosaic filter. And this really, I think, helps sell the idea that data is no longer being transferred at an efficient rate. So if I choose my size of the cell to kind of match how pixelated I want it, I'll hit OK. And then the final image is created. There's my meme. File, save, and this time, because I want to see the layers, and again, layers go bottom to top. Whatever's on the bottom is going to be on the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and save as, or save, because the first time I saved as, and then I'm saving it as a PSD file, which is a Photoshop file. That's what you'll turn in. It's the only type of file that I'll take for this project because I do want to see the layers and how you put it together. Click on that. Place the old one since I already did this tutorial once, and you're done. Thank you.